Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Kraken Packs video. I am your host, MrBevers. That's right, we're going to take a look at one of these planeswalker decks from Guilds of Ravnica this week. You've probably already seen these opened. I'm going to open it anyway because, you know, there are 2 booster packs inside. Who knows what we'll find. And maybe we can find some improvements for the deck in those booster packs. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But before we get too far, let's talk about our giveaway that's going on for the month of December. There's a giveaway being run, Christmas style, 31 Days of Christmas. It's being run by Exotic MTG. He is the one presenting this. He has organized 31 different content creators to give away something each day in December, so 31 days of giveaways in the month of December. I am partaking in this. There'll be a Gleam link below in the description, as well as a link to the calendar that tells you which day each content creator has their giveaway scheduled. I am going to be on December 30th. That's when my video will be live for my giveaway. And just to give a little bit of a spoiler, I mentioned it in my first video about this, and the second video I mentioned that I did spoil it, but so this is going to be part of the giveaway. That's right. I received this in the mail due to the kerfuffle with the Guilds of Ravnica Mythic Edition. So I received one of these in the mail, and I'm going to give away whatever's in this as part of my giveaway. So if you want to know how to enter, click the link below. There are new ways to enter every day, so make sure you check the Gleam link every day and make sure you follow the instructions on how to get the most amount of entries you possibly can. Check it out. Thanks so much, and let's get right into this. Get ready for some sweet giveaways, that's all I'm saying. Ooh, you get a deck box in this thing now? Nice. I'm sure it's like super high quality deck box too. Let's find out. Alright, so that can go there. There's our Vraska, which I'm always like super hesitant to take out of here because I'm always worried I'm going to damage it when I get it out of there. Okay, that can go over here for now. So the Vraska is not the Vraska from the set, so she costs 7, a black, a green, and 5. And comes in with 5 loyalty and says, put a 1/1 counter on up to 1 target creature. That creature gains menace until end of turn. -3, destroy target creature. I should say, the first ability was a +2. Then -10, for each creature card in your graveyard, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Holy moly. That is a lot of things. That is a lot of counters if you're playing the proper Golgari deck, right? If you are playing the proper Golgari deck, you can get a lot of counters with that. Now, let's take a quick peek here. There's our deck box. Looks like we've got a Beast Whisperer right on top. That's a pretty nice card. And then you've got your guide to play. Hey, before you play. Well, I'm not playing yet. There you go. The Portal app, which it doesn't exist yet, I don't think. I don't think it exists yet. And if it does, then I don't know. So we've got Beast Whisperer. Let's make sure that we've got it in shot here. And we've got Bounty of Might. Some nice green rares. Then we've got Vraska's Stone Glare, which is not a card from the actual set. So this is the rare that you get in addition to your Vraska that doesn't come in the base set. So this is specifically only in the Vraska Planeswalker deck. So Vraska's Stone Glare is 6 mana, 4 and a black-green. Destroy target creature. You gain life equal to its toughness. You may search your library and or graveyard for a card named Vraska Regal Gorgon, reveal it, and put it into your hand. If you search your library this way, shuffle it. So the idea is that this is a spell that kills something but also lets you go and get your Vraska. And if this costs you 6 and you're playing it, chances are you probably have your 7th mana to play Vraska. And then you get 2 of these, as is normally tradition. Now, I don't think if that's all the rares you get in this, then that's kind of a little bit disappointing, I guess. But so what do we got here? A Bartisan Bats, Lotleth Giant, it's a nice card for Golgari. Dowser of Lights. Here is the card. Here's the common, I guess, that comes in this. That's not part of the main set, and that is a Krull Raider, which is a 2/3 menace for 3. So it's just a regular old gum up the ground guy, and you get 4 copies of that guy. So you do get a playset of him from this. So if you need a playset of him for whatever reason, this is where you get it. We got another Bartisan Bats. We have 2 Bartisan Bats. We have 3 Spinal Centipedes. I don't know why the Bartisan Bats weren't together when all of the others were. Like, so the Krull Raiders were all together, and then the Spinal Centipedes were all together. The Bartisan Bats were separated by, what, 6 cards? It's kind of weird. And then we've got, let's put our rares here. And we're just going to separate them by color. So we've got Devkarin Dissident, Iron Shell Beetle, 2 Iron Shell Beetles. We've got a Krull Foragers, a Wild Ceratok, and that's it for our green creatures, it looks like. Or mono green creatures. Attendant of Vraska is also, this is the uncommon you get from this that you don't get anywhere else. So this is specifically from the Planeswalker deck. And it says, it's a 3 mana, 3/3, 1 black and green. When Attendant of Vraska dies, if you control a Vraska Planeswalker, you gain life equal to Attendant of Vraska's power. Okay, so that's interesting. We get 3 of those. We have 2 Glowspore Shamans. We've got 2 Rhizome Lurchers. And we've got a Swarm Guild Mage. Then, of course, you've got 4 Golgari Guild Gates. Golgari Guild Gates. Which makes sense. And then you have Forests and Swamps. Right? Okay. And then here at the end, they've put the sorceries and stuff. I was going to say, this is all creatures so far, except for the rares. So you've got 3 Deadweights, some nice little early game removal. You've got 2 Prey-Upons. So. Oh, there you go. Oh, well, there's a code to get a Vraska deck, which has probably already been taken by the time you see this. I'm guessing. That's a code for Arena. We'll see how it goes. Okay. So, I would say that the thing I notice about this is that it has a few things that pay off for creatures being in your graveyard. But the only way to put creatures in your graveyard is your Glowspore Shaman. And you don't really have any of the only creatures here that I would say that you really want to sacrifice to stuff is your Spinal Centipedes and your Iron Shell Beetles. But the Iron Shell Beetles you don't really want to sacrifice. It's just that it's easy to sacrifice them. The Attendant of Vraska is fine to throw under the bus once in a while if you have Vraska in play because you gain the life. But other than that, you don't really have any sort of payoff for having your creatures die, right? Like having your creatures in the graveyard doesn't do much for this deck, right? You have 1 Lotleth Giant and 1 Krull Foragers. So you have 2 cards that pay off for having cards in the graveyard. Other than Vraska herself. But Vraska costs 7, and she has to be at 10 loyalty for that to even benefit you, right? And then you have no way to put your own creatures into the graveyard unless you just, throw them under the bus of attacking creatures, which is not necessarily the best way to do things, right? Let's see if we can't find some decent green-black cards. Okay, so Vigorspore Worm would be very beneficial for this deck if you can get the right stuff in here. Mephitic Vapors is fine. Shieldmate is not really what you want for this deck. Pitless Gorgon would be good for this deck. It's a nice creature that blocks pretty much all the things early game. And then he gums up the board because they don't want to swing with their big things. And then if you have to sacrifice it, you're okay with it because it goes to your graveyard. Okay, those are our commons. And then Lava Coil, not so much. Nightveil Predator, very good card, just not really meant for this deck. Inspiring Unicorn, and we got a Midnight Reaper. Okay, this is a very good card for this type of deck, so that'll definitely go right in here. We hit a nice rare. Hit a very nice rare for this. We got a Golgar, we got a Selesnya Guildgate and a Soldier token. What's our second pack? Midnight Reaper would be a very good addition to this deck. I'm just pulling out like the... Okay, so we've got... Okay. So we've got an Undercity Uprising, which is not a bad little card. So like let's pull out these, I guess. You can't really see them because of where everything is situated. Let's see if we can't make a little more space. There. How's that? Okay, so we've got Undercity Uprising, Pitless Gorgon. We have a fourth Deadweight, I should say. I think that's all that's of interest out of that set of commons. And then what did we have here? Oh, geez, we're just like mangling up our lands here. Vigor Spore Worm would be interesting. And I don't think we want anything else out of there. The Mephitic Vapors, maybe, if you're coming up against the right, like, deck. What the? Hold on. So, if there's a Inspiring Unicorn behind this Nightveil Predator, it's not. Okay. That's weird, though, eh? 2 Lava Coils and 2 Nightveil Predators out of 2 packs, and they're uncommons? It's unlikely. Holy moly, we got a Niv Mizzet. Well, Niv Mizzet's not playing in this deck, because this deck is green-black and nowhere near blue and red, and not anywhere near playing 3 blue, 3 red for a 5/5 flyer. Now, Niv Mizzet is great, solid card, just not really meant for this deck. And we got a foil Luminous Bonds, which is pretty nice. That's the other thing too, right, is, I mean, like, you could look at splashing some white if you wanted to. Like, we do have the Selesnya Guildgate. We got a Dimir Guildgate as well, so, I mean, like, green, white, and blue, black, definitely things we could splash if we wanted to. I don't think I saw any other... Did we see any? Oh, we did. So, like, Luminous Bonds is not bad as a splash card, if you have the fixing for it. So what we were looking for, in my opinion, is I think I would rather replace these Iron Shell Beetles with the Generous Strays, because they draw you a card. So that's much better, in my opinion. And then, like, we might have wanted something that, like, either has a sacrifice mechanic to draw cards, or something along those lines. So, like, that's what I would look at to, like, increase this deck's playability. I would definitely look at something that, like, benefits greatly from having your creatures in the graveyard. And then, like, even that, like, maybe bring in some cards that let you bring your cards back from the graveyard. So, like, the Golgari Gravefinder, the Golgari Finder? Is that what it is? I can't remember the name of it now. I think it's Gravefinder? Or maybe it's... I can't remember. Anyway, the 3/4 for 2 green, 2 black lets you return a permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Like, that's a solid Golgari card for this type of deck, right? And it lets you bring back even Vraska if they kill it, right? If Vraska dies and it's in your graveyard, Golgari Gravefinder gets that back, right? So, you know, there's definitely things in here that you could put in that would benefit this deck greatly. The Midnight Reaper, very good card for this type of deck, because if you're going to be throwing away things, it gives you a draw mechanic. You know, it can damage your life total, but it's not necessarily the end of the world. And I mean, running a 4th Deadweight, maybe you don't need it. Maybe you'd rather run another Prey Upon. I don't know. But the Undercity Uprising is very good as well, because it's essentially lets you trade, like, one of your Iron Shell Beetles for one of their big things, because it gives it Death Touch and then it fights. Yeah, I would definitely want to change this deck a bunch if I was going to play it. It seems okay out of the box for someone who's just starting to play, for sure. And that's what it's designed for, right? But I think I would definitely want to make some changes to it to make it a little bit more interesting and fun to play. That's what I'm thinking. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, everybody. This has been a little Kraken Packs video of a Vraska Planeswalker deck from Guilds of Ravnica. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, may your pulls ever be better.